A woman sprints through rain-soaked Seoul streets, her dark skin glistening under neon lights. Her breath comes in gasps. Cut to a man in an expensive suit, eyes cold as winter, ending a phone call. Make sure he never speaks again. Cut to their eyes meeting across a dim office. Time stops. Cut to gunfire, breaking glass. Two bodies pressed against a wall, hiding. Cut to blood spreading across white marble. Cut to a kiss so desperate it looks like goodbye. Cut to the woman, tears streaming, walking away from everything. Sandra's voiceover cuts through. They say beauty can save your life. I never believed it, until I walked into the wrong room 20 minutes late and met a man who could kill me with a word. A man whose frozen heart I somehow melted. This is how a job interview became a love that almost destroyed us both. If you're ready for a story about dangerous love and impossible choices, hit that subscribe button now. You won't want to miss what happens next. The subway had broken down. Of course it had. Sandra Kim clutched her worn leather portfolio against her chest as rain hammered down, turning Seoul streets into rivers of reflected neon. Her interview at Kong Enterprises had been scheduled for 2 o'clock. Her phone read 2:20 p.m. No, 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 she whispered, her Atlanta accent thick with panic. 3 jobs. She worked 3 jobs to send money home to her mother, who was dying slowly in a hospital bed 6,000 miles away. This translator position paid more than all 3 combined. And she was blowing it. She burst through the glass doors of the Kong building, water dripping from her natural hair, her white blouse clinging to her skin. The security guard barely glanced at her visitor's pass as she rushed to the elevators. 15th floor, HR department. She jabbed the button. The elevator climbed. Sandra tried to calm her racing heart, practiced her apology in Korean. Josonghamnida. I'm so sorry for my lateness. The subway. The doors opened. She stepped out, scanning for the HR office. But something was wrong. This floor was too quiet, too dark. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city, rain sliding down like tears. At the end of a long hallway, a single door stood open, light spilling out. Sandra hesitated. Her interview packet said 15th floor. This was the 15th floor. She checked her phone, no signal. With no other option, she walked toward that open door, her heels clicking against marble. She stepped inside. The office was enormous, decorated in minimalist black and chrome. Behind a massive desk sat a man who made Sandra's breath catch. He couldn't have been older than 35, with sharp features and dark eyes that looked like they'd forgotten how to feel anything. He wore a charcoal suit that probably cost more than her rent for a year. His hair was perfectly styled, but there was something wild underneath the polish. Dangerous. He was ending a phone call in rapid Korean. Sandra caught enough to make her blood run cold. Make sure he never speaks again. I don't care how. Clean it up. Their eyes met. Time stopped. Do-yoon had been about to give another order when the door opened and she walked in. Backlit by the hallway, rain-soaked and breathless. This woman looked like she'd stepped out of a dream he'd forgotten he could have. Her dark skin seemed to glow in the dim light. Her eyes, God, her eyes were the color of warm cognac, wide with fear and something else. Determination. He forgot what he was saying. The phone slipped slightly in his hand. I'm so sorry, she stammered in careful Korean. I'm late for my interview. The subway broke down and I've been running and... She paused, finally registering the office, the man, the weight of the moment. This isn't HR, is it? Do-yoon should have called security, should have had her removed. Instead, he found himself standing, moving around the desk. He couldn't take his eyes off her. 15 years. 15 years since his wife and daughter were murdered, since he'd felt anything but rage and emptiness. And now this woman, dripping rainwater on his Italian marble, looking terrified and brave and so achingly beautiful it hurt. You're here for the translator position, he said in perfect English, his voice low and controlled. Sandra blinked. Yes, but you're hired. What? Do-yoon stepped closer. He could smell rain and jasmine. You start Monday. My assistant will send you the details. But you haven't even looked at my resume. You haven't asked me anything. You don't know if I'm qualified. You speak Korean. You speak English. That's all I need." His eyes held hers. "Unless you don't want the job?" Sandra's mind raced. Something was very wrong here. This wasn't how interviews worked. And that phone call, what kind of company was this? But the salary posting had been triple what she made now. Her mother needed experimental treatment the insurance wouldn't cover. "I want the job," she heard herself say. "Good." Do-yoon returned to his desk, pressed a button. "Min-jun will show you out. Welcome to Kong Enterprises. Miss Kim." Sandra Kim. A door opened. A stocky man in a dark suit entered, his face carefully blank. But Sandra saw the calculation in his eyes as he looked between her and Do-yoon. "Take care of our new hire," Do-yoon said, never looking away from Sandra. "Make sure she has everything she needs." Monday arrived too quickly. Sandra stood outside the Kong building in a pressed black dress, her portfolio clutched tight. She'd spent the weekend researching. Kong Enterprises had legitimate businesses, real estate, nightclubs, imports. But the deeper she dug, the more the edges blurred. Rumors, whispers, nothing concrete, but enough to make her hands shake. She should walk away. But she thought of her mother's labored breathing over their last video call, and she walked inside. The executive floor was different in daylight. Busy, professional. She was given an office, a computer, a stack of contracts to translate. The work was legitimate. Hours passed. She began to relax, until Do-yoon appeared in her doorway at 6 p.m. "Come with me," he said simply. Sandra followed him to a private conference room. Inside, 3 men in expensive suits sat around a table. They went silent when she entered, their eyes hostile. "My new translator," Do-yoon announced in Korean, then switched to Mandarin. "Gentlemen, let's continue." For the next 2 hours, Sandra translated a business negotiation that was absolutely, definitely illegal. Real estate purchases that were obviously money laundering. Import schedules for merchandise that made the Chinese businessmen smile in ways that turned her stomach. She kept her face neutral, translated every word perfectly. When the meeting ended and the men left, Do-yoon turned to her. "You understand what you witnessed tonight." It wasn't a question. Sandra met his eyes. "Yes. And yet you're still here. The salary is very good." A ghost of a smile touched his lips. "Practical. I appreciate that." He poured 2 glasses of whiskey from a crystal decanter, offered her one. She took it. "Your mother. The experimental treatment in Atlanta. It's expensive." Sandra's blood ran cold. "How do you?" "I know everything about the people who work for me, Sandra." He sipped his drink. "Don't be afraid. I'm not threatening her. I'm simply acknowledging why you're here. We all do what we must for the people we love. Want to see how deep this dangerous relationship goes? Drop a like and comment what you think Sandra should do. Stay or run. Let's continue." Weeks blurred together. Sandra translated for deals she tried not to think about too carefully. She wired money home. Her mother's doctors were cautiously optimistic about the new treatment. And Do-yoon watched her constantly. She felt his eyes during meetings, turned to find him staring from across rooms. He found excuses to need her, late-night translations, early morning briefings. He never touched her, never said anything inappropriate. But the tension between them grew thick enough to choke on. Min-jun, Do-yoon's second-in-command, watched with increasing alarm. One night, Sandra worked late finishing a contract. She was alone in her office when Do-yoon appeared. "You should go home," he said softly. "Almost done." He stepped inside, closed the door. The click of the lock made her look up. He leaned against the door, studying her with those dark, dangerous eyes. "Why did you really hire me?" Sandra asked, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "You know why. Say it." Do-yoon crossed the room slowly, like a predator. He stopped mere inches away. "Because when you walked into my office, soaking wet and 20 minutes late, you looked like every beautiful thing I thought was dead in this world. Because for 15 years I've been empty, and then you existed, and suddenly I remembered what it felt like to want to breathe. Sandra stood, facing him. They were so close now. You don't know me. I know you send every penny home. I know you work until your hands shake from exhaustion. I know you're terrified of what I am, but you stay anyway because love makes us brave and foolish. His voice dropped to a whisper. I know you feel this too. This impossible thing between us. You're dangerous, she breathed. Yes. You hurt people. Yes. I should run from you. Yes. His hand rose, hovering near her face, not quite touching. Why don't you? Sandra's heart hammered. Because you look at me like I'm saving you, and I've never saved anyone before. And God help me, I want to. His control broke. Do-yoon's hand cupped her face, his thumb brushing her cheek with a gentleness that seemed impossible from a man who ordered deaths over the phone. You terrify me, he confessed. Because you make me want to be someone I'm not sure I remember how to be. The moment stretched. Sandra could feel the heat of him, smell his cologne, cedar and smoke. She was falling into those dark eyes, into this catastrophic choice. The door burst open. Min-jun stood there, his face pale. Boss, we have a problem. Park's men hit the warehouse. 3 of our guys are dead. The gentleness vanished from Do-yoon's face, replaced by ice. He stepped back, and Sandra saw the transformation. The man who'd touched her cheek disappearing, the monster taking his place. Get everyone armed, Do-yoon ordered in Korean. I want Park's head on my desk by morning. Wait, Sandra said. Both men looked at her. What if there's another way? Another way? Do-yoon's voice was sharp. You said Park wants your territory. What if you negotiated? Gave him something else he wants more? Min-jun laughed harshly. Boss, you're not seriously listening to. Everyone out. Do-yoon commanded. When they were alone again, he turned to Sandra. You think you can negotiate with men like Park? I think violence just creates more violence. I think maybe... She stepped closer. Maybe you're tired of being this person. Maybe you want an excuse to try something different. For a long moment, Do-yoon said nothing. Then, if I negotiate, if I show weakness, they'll all come for me. Everyone. I'll lose everything. But you'd be alive. We'd be alive. He stared at her, something cracking in his chest. We. Sandra's eyes filled with tears. I don't know when it happened, but yes, we. The negotiation happened in a neutral restaurant. All security checked at the door. Park Jin-ho was older, scarred, with eyes like a shark. He smiled when he saw Do-yoon arrive with Sandra. So the rumors are true, Park said in Korean. The Ice King has found someone to warm his bed. Careful. Do-yoon's voice was deadly soft. Sandra touched his arm lightly, calming. She'd learned he responded to her touch like nothing else. Let's talk business, she said in Korean, her accent careful. You want the warehouse territory. Mr. Kong is willing to discuss terms. For 2 hours, she navigated between them, finding middle ground, suggesting compromises. Park was impressed despite himself. Do-yoon watched her work like he was seeing magic. They reached an agreement. No bloodshed. Shared territory. A fragile peace. As they left, Do-yoon pulled her into a private alcove. How did you do that? I listened. I found what he really wanted, respect. Not just fear. Do-yoon's hands framed her face. You're changing me. I don't know if I should thank you or hate you for it. Do-yoon. He kissed her. 15 years of loneliness and rage and grief poured into that kiss. Sandra gasped, then melted into him, her hands fisting in his jacket. It was desperate and tender and completely catastrophic. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Do-yoon pressed his forehead to hers. I can't protect you if you stay with me. My world. It will destroy you eventually. Then leave it, Sandra whispered. Leave it all. Choose something different. It's not that simple. Yes, it is. You're just afraid. He pulled back, stung. You think I'm afraid? I think you've been the monster for so long you've forgotten you were human first. Sandra's eyes were fierce. I see you, Do-yoon. The real you. Under all the violence and control. I see the man who cried when he told me about his daughter. The man who reads poetry in the dark hours. The man who wants desperately to be good again but doesn't believe he deserves it. Do-yoon's eyes filled with tears he couldn't shed. She would have been your age. My daughter. If she'd lived. I know. Sometimes when I look at you, I think she sent you to save me from myself. Sandra kissed him gently. Then let me save you. Please. But the world they lived in didn't forgive change. Min-jun had been secretly working for Park, feeding information, waiting for the right moment. When Do-yoon started negotiating instead of killing, started going soft for this American woman, Min-jun saw his opportunity. He told Park about Sandra, about how completely she'd captured Do-yoon's heart, about the mother in Atlanta. Sandra's mother was kidnapped from her hospital room 2 days before she was scheduled to come home. The call came at 3 a.m. Sandra was at Do-yoon's penthouse. They'd stopped pretending they weren't together. She answered her phone, heard her mother's terrified voice, then Park's laughter. The woman or your empire, Do-yoon. You have 24 hours to choose. Sandra dropped the phone. Do-yoon caught her as her legs gave out, held her as she sobbed. Then she felt him go rigid, felt the monster resurface. I'll kill every single one of them, he said, his voice empty and terrible. I'll burn his world to ashes. No. Sandra pulled back, wiping her eyes. No more killing. Not for me. Sandra, I mean it. She stood, shaking but determined. If you start a war, dozens will die. Maybe hundreds. I won't be responsible for that. Then what do you suggest? This is the moment everything changes. If you're on the edge of your seat, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the ending. Comment below, what would you do in Sandra's position? Sandra's hands stopped shaking. A strange calm settled over her. I'll trade myself for her. Absolutely not. Do-yoon, listen. No. He grabbed her shoulders. I won't lose you. I can't. You won't lose me. You're gonna let me go, let Park think he's won, and then you're gonna walk away. From all of it. Dismantle your empire. Make a deal. Save yourself. You're insane if you think. I'm not asking. Sandra's voice was steel. You taught me how this world works. How to read people, how to negotiate, how to play the game. Now I'm playing it. For both of us. Do-yoon's face crumpled. I've already lost everyone I ever loved. If you die, I won't die. I'm gonna talk my way out. Trust me. Trust that you taught me well. She kissed him, slow and sweet. And Do-yoon? When I get out, when this is over, I want you to be someone new. Someone who chooses peace. Can you do that? Can you be that man for me? Tears finally fell down his face. I don't know how. Yes, you do. You've been practicing for weeks now. She smiled through her own tears. I believe in you. Believe in yourself. Sandra walked into Park's compound alone at dawn. Min-jun was there, smirking. Park sat like a king on a leather chair, her mother bound and gagged beside him. The beautiful American, Park said. You're either very brave or very stupid. Pragmatic, Sandra replied in perfect Korean. She'd been practicing. Let my mother go. I'll stay. Do-yoon will dismantle his territory and leave Korea. You win everything. Park studied her. Why would I believe he'll walk away? Because I'll make him. Because he loves me more than power. Sandra stepped closer. You want to know the real reason Do-yoon became so dangerous? It wasn't ambition. It was grief. He had nothing left to lose. But now he has me. And I'm telling you, he'll walk away if it means I live. And if I just kill you both? Sandra's smile was sharp. Then you have no leverage over Do-yoon. And he'll destroy you with nothing left to lose. You know his reputation. Can you really afford that war? Park laughed, surprised. You're quite something, Miss Kim. Let my mother go. Give Do-yoon 24 hours to start the transfer of assets. Then we talk terms for my release. Sandra's eyes were hard. Or I walk out of here, you kill me, and Do-yoon burns everything you love to the ground. Your choice. The room was silent. Finally, Park nodded. Your mother can leave. You stay. But only for 24 hours. After that, we renegotiate. Agreed. As her mother was untied and escorted out, sobbing, Sandra remained still. She'd bought them time. Now she just had to survive. Do-yoon read Sandra's letter for the 100th time, his hands shaking. Don't let my choice be meaningless. Live. Be better. Choose the man I see when you look at me. I love you. I've probably loved you since that first moment. When you looked at me like I was precious. Be precious. Be worth it. I believe in you. Minjun stood nearby, waiting for orders. Boss. We can take Park's compound in under an hour if... No. Do-yoon's voice was hollow. No more. What? Do-yoon stood. Something settling in his chest. A decision made. Call everyone. Every family, every syndicate. Emergency meeting. Tomorrow. Boss, what are you? I'm doing what she asked. I'm choosing to be worth it. The meeting room held 20 of Korea's most dangerous men. They stared at Do-yoon like he'd lost his mind. I'm out, he announced in Korean. I'm dismantling everything. Territory, operations, assets. I'm dividing it up and walking away. Chaos erupted. Shouting, threats, accusations of weakness. Do-yoon let them rage. Then he held up his hand. Silence fell. Park Jin-ho has the woman I love, he said quietly. He thinks she's leverage. But she's not. She's the reason I'm making this choice. For 15 years I've been dead inside, building an empire on corpses and fear. And then she walked into my life, 20 minutes late and dripping rainwater. And she was so beautiful it hurt. Not just her face, her spirit, her belief that people can change. He looked around the room. I'm proving her right. I'm choosing life over death, peace over power. You can kill me for it. You can call me weak. But I'm taking my woman, and I'm leaving. Any man with honor will let me go. Any man who's ever loved someone will understand. Park Jin-ho sat in the back, his face unreadable. Finally, he stood. Let them go. Minjun jumped up. What? You can't be serious. This is our chance. He pulled a gun. Park's men shot him before he could fire. The traitor's body crumpled. Park walked to Do-yoon. You're a fool, but a brave one. She's at Warehouse 7. Take her and disappear. If I ever see you again, this mercy ends. Do-yoon bowed deeply. Thank you. Sandra heard the gunshot and braced herself. But it wasn't her execution. The warehouse door burst open and Do-yoon stood there, alive, whole, racing toward her. You came, she sobbed as he untied her. Always. He pulled her close, checking for injuries. Your mother is safe. She's at the airport with tickets to Atlanta. And I. He laughed, almost hysterical. I just gave up everything. My empire, my power, all of it. For you. Because you asked me to be better and I want to be. I want to deserve you. Sandra kissed him hard. You already do. They ran together out of that warehouse, away from that life. At the airport, Sandra's mother was waiting, tears streaming. They held each other tight. Come with me, Sandra said to Do-yoon. To Atlanta. Start over. He shook his head gently. I have things to finish here first. Legal things. I'm turning evidence over to prosecutors, everyone who ever hurt people. I'm making amends. He touched her face. Give me 6 months. 6 months to clean up my past. And then, if you'll still have me, I'll wait forever, Sandra whispered. But you better not make me wait that long. 6 months later, Sandra walked through her mother's garden in Atlanta. Her mother was healthy now, laughing with neighbors. The treatment had worked. Car pulled up. Sandra's heart stopped. Do-yoon stepped out carrying a single suitcase. He looked different, lighter somehow, like he'd been carrying boulders and finally set them down. She ran to him. He caught her, spinning her around, both of them laughing through tears. I have nothing now, he said in English, his accent thick. No empire, no money, just a criminal record and a lot of therapy ahead of me. He set her down, suddenly uncertain. Is that enough? Sandra cupped his face, saw the man she'd always known was there, good and flawed and trying. It's everything. You're everything. They kissed in golden afternoon light, two people who'd survived the darkness and found something precious on the other side. You know, Do-yoon murmured against her lips. You never did do a proper interview. I still don't know if you're actually qualified as a translator. Sandra laughed. I'm excellent at my job. I translated the most difficult language there is. What's that? Violence into peace, fear into love, death into life. She pulled back, her eyes shining. And I think I did pretty well, considering my boss was impossible. Do-yoon's smile was real, the first genuine smile in 15 years. Your boss was an idiot who got lucky, who found beauty when he wasn't looking for it, who got saved by being 20 minutes late. Best interview of my life, Sandra whispered. They stood there, in that garden, building a future from the ashes of his past. And somewhere in Seoul, in an office on the 15th floor, rain fell against empty windows where once a broken man had looked up and seen salvation walk through his door. She was so beautiful, and she'd saved them both. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe to our channel for more emotional stories like this one. Hit that like button if you believe in second chances and the power of love to change even the darkest hearts. And comment below what moment made you cry. We read every single comment. Thank you for watching, and remember, sometimes the most beautiful things in life come when we least expect them.